So I just wanted to go off a rant right here. Why the Brooklyn Nets are winners in this trade as well. Everyone's going to sit here and say that the Dallas Mavericks won this trade, which they won. They gave up only one first round pick, a second round pick very down the road, all right, and they gave up a point guard for a point guard and they gave up a two-way player, one of the better two-way wings in the league. That's a the ass they didn't basically empty the cupboard, the pantry for Kyrie. But if you're sitting here, you're like, this wasn't that good for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets had no leverage. This was the second time Kyrie had looked to leave Brooklyn within a year, within less than a year to be exact. So Brooklyn had no leverage. Brooklyn had no leverage. So the fact that they were able to get an unprotected first round pick, which helps recoup some of the assets that they lost in the Harden trade. So right now at this point, if you count all the picks they got back in the Harden trade for Ben Simmons and this trade, they're looking fine assets wise. They got a guy, Spencer Dinwiddie, who I'm pretty sure is Spencer Dinwiddie's on and has another year on his deal. All right, and the thing is you sit here and you're like, this was not a bad deal for Brooklyn because you get Spencer Dinwiddie, who's under contract for next year. You get Dorian Finney-Smith, who's under contract for basically 3 more years. So now your starting lineup, arguably, is a bit better at defense. You got a starting lineup of Spencer Dinwiddie, who people forget when last time he played for Brooklyn, he was a 20-point per game scorer. Guy that we thought were going to take the next step. And you have a starting lineup once Kevin Durant's healthy is a front court of Nick Claxton, Ben Simmons, Kevin Durant, my apology. Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Nick Claxton, and then you probably put Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. That team is huge. You go also run lineups. Like now, this team, you got 2 players back. Now you got your best players are Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, Joe Harris, Royce O'Neale, Claxton, Seth Curry. Okay? This team's still good. Like, if you're sitting here and being like, this team isn't good anymore, we're not going to be able to, to do anything. Guys, it's actually not that bad of a situation. And I think when we look at this, it's just like, look, guys, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie is showing that he can be. I think Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith are going to show, and I know some people aren't going to be. I think this team's going to be a lot better defensively, and I think we need to just give Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie more basically credit, because for me it just seems like we're not giving credit to these guys when there should be a ton of credit to the Brooklyn Nets for being able to get at least the assets that they were able to get. So that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think of this and why? What's next, obviously? I know it's not the most ideal circumstance for some people, but hey, with time like this, I really think this team is still a top 5 team in the East. No doubt about it, okay? So for me, I just look at this situation, I'm like, okay, like, it's not that bad. And I think they got what they were able to get. That was the best deal that they would be able to get. And KD should be happy with the players that they received. Like, there could have been worse deals. Like, I think the Kyrie deal would have been, Kyrie to the Lakers would have been worse. You got a good deal. I mean, hey, you screwed over LeBron. Let's just say that. LeBron ain't happy. And I think that's kind of funny when you look at it that way. So for me, I think, hey, let's just see how this all plays out and what happens next, because I have no idea. So let me hear your guys' thoughts. What did you guys expect, and what were you guys hoping to see potentially? Like, I just think it's just an interesting situation if you look at it like, through a lens, because, hey, I know that this obviously might not be the most ideal situation for if you're a Nets fan, but I think if for a team that didn't have much leverage, they got the best that they could. And I think that's something that we all need to give credit to what they were able to get for being a team that was with no leverage. Okay, it was the second time in less than a year Kyrie had demanded a trade. What are you supposed to do at that point? You know, what are you supposed to do? So for me, I think, hey, they rolled the ball the way that they should have, and you know, I think it's admirable how they were able to get out of this sticky situation. Where arguably, you know, it wasn't fun, and it was a situation that they were hoping that they could turn around. And I think right here we just got to see that they were able to turn it around. And this team is still a team that I think is going to surprise a lot of people and maybe be a better defensive team, maybe even a better team than we might have ever imagined. So that's where I'm at with all of this. I just think it's interesting to see how it'll play out and what the right answers are from an organizational standpoint, because I don't really know. I wonder what the personnel will look like, but I do think this was a good deal for both parties. Okay, I think both teams won this trade, and I think people need to respect the Nets for what they were able to get when they had no leverage. And yeah, that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think of this deal and why? I just think it's definitely an interesting one that you got what you could get. You got what you could get, and I don't think anyone's complaining right there because it was just not a ideal situation when you looked at it through a lens. So I'm gone. Bye.